When I awoke to the realization, I was bullying the true heir. The young man lay beneath my foot, his eyes bloodshot. With a sneer, I nudged his chin with my toe. "Scholarship boy, your waist is pretty slim. So what if he was the real heir? He'd still become my obedient dog. Later, he'd pin me against his office desk, his cold voice murmuring, 'The young master's waist is equally slim.' By the time I discovered I was an imposter destined for cruel retribution, Ethan Smith had already thoroughly humiliated Liam Johnson. The emaciated body beneath my shoe trembled, protruding shoulder blades scraping my soul like gravel. Despite our torment, Liam Johnson remained silent, his ink-black hair obscuring amber eyes that burned like cognac. Ryan Davis snorted coldly, yanking Liam's hair to force eye contact. "Quite the tough guy. Ethan, should we teach him another lesson?" As I studied him, Liam's unsettling gaze locked onto mine. His narrow, wolfish eyes held unnatural stillness, twin glass marbles that chilled the blood. A lackey chuckled. "Ethan, the freak's staring again. Pathetic creep," I spat, grinding my heel into his spine before examining my loosened shoelace. Extending my foot, I commanded, "Tie it." Ryan grimaced in disgust. "You'd let this trash touch you?" The crowd jeered as I smirked. "His pale skin's not bad." My eyes trailed down the soaked white shirt. "And that slender waist. Meaning what?" Ryan's smile vanished. "Perfect for leashing." I tilted Liam's chin, savoring his aristocratic features. A caged heir made ideal pet. "Be my dog, Liam. My family funds your scholarship. Remember?" Before I finished, calloused fingers closed around my ankle. Liam knelt obediently, my foot resting on his thigh as his pale fingers tied perfect bows. Golden light transformed his feral gaze into liquid honey when he rasped, "Yes, young master. Ethan, your stalker's back." Ryan griped later, slinging an arm around my shoulders. We were crossing campus when I shook him off and turned. 10 paces behind, Liam stood motionless, ragged bangs failing to hide those relentless eyes. The input is so messed up. In the storyline, I became furious because of Liam Johnson's extremely aggressive gaze and started targeting him, frequently hitting and humiliating him. Once he suddenly fought back, and in the chaos, I accidentally broke his head. That hospital visit revealed through blood transfusion that Liam actually shared the same Rh, negative blood type as my parents, ironically bringing him unexpected fortune. After glancing briefly, I averted my eyes, let him stare. "It's not like I'll lose flesh." Ryan Davis muttered, "Can't see why this guy interests you." At the cafeteria, Liam sat 2 tables away facing me, waiting for his financial aid. He only took shredded potatoes, a steamed bun, and free soup. His angular shoulders stretched the uniform when he hunched over eating. The short sleeves exposed pale wrists bearing a black hair tie that clung tightly like handcuffs. He ate with robotic efficiency, swallowing before fully chewing. Suddenly he looked up, fixing me with that same sticky, gloomy stare. I stabbed my fork into the rice violently. Ryan jumped. "What's wrong?" "Not hungry." He picked cilantro off my plate, nagging Mr. Picky Prince with his delicate palate. My mood worsened remembering future plot points, me losing wealth, forced to eat hated cilantro and fawn over people, while Liam rose to unreachable heights. Malicious impulses stirred. "Hey scholarship kid." I tilted my chin. "Come here." He approached, head slightly bowed. "Eat this." I pushed my tray forward, smirking. "Be a good dog and clean the plate." His bangs shadowed his eyes as his pale lips moved. "No." Someone snickered, face burning. I snapped, "You don't get to refuse. Remember who owns you. Picky eating isn't virtuous. Young master." His clear voice cut through the cafeteria noise. "You're too thin. Should eat more. Need nutrition to grow taller." Both statements detonated landmines. I kicked his shin. "Shut up." But his leg felt like steel, hurting my foot instead. Momentum threw me backward onto Ryan's lap. Ryan chuckled, steadying my waist and patting my head. Our Ethan's still growing. Bystanders muffled their laughter. Enraged, I yanked Liam's collar down and slapped him. The red mark bloomed instantly. The whole cafeteria stared. "Stop overstepping," I shouted. "Remember, You're Ethan Smith's dog. Ryan pulled me back worriedly. Ethan? Liam slowly turned his slapped face, his throat working, his wolf-like eyes locked on me. Well? I stammered. Answer. After endless silence, he opened his mouth, woof. Ultimately, I resentfully finished every bite. Suddenly I realized that not only Liam Johnson, but even Ryan Davis, and even the little follower by my side were all taller than me, although it's only sophomore year with plenty of growth potential left. Those unnoticed details began flooding my mind uncontrollably. Ryan effortlessly making baskets in PE class, the 2 sizes too big uniform measurements, even my front row seat assignment. During study hall, I couldn't resist sliding a note to my desk mate. How did you get so tall? I stuffed the returned note into my sleeve, excusing myself to the bathroom stall to read. Genetics, plus calcium from milk. Genetics. My parents are indeed tall, and come to think of it, Liam inherited that trait too. As I glared at the latter part about milk, slow footsteps approached. I flushed the note and washed my hands, only to freeze at the mirror's reflection. Someone stood silently behind me. Damn it, I swore, turning to find Liam Johnson. Freak, are you insane? I shouted. He stepped forward, trapping me against the sink, his amber eyes lowering to meet mine. Ethan, he said suddenly, I shouldn't have called you short publicly. Just apologize? My eyes narrowed. Forget it. Bring me milk every morning instead. Okay. He agreed but didn't move, rolling up sleeves to wash hands while crowding me against the marble counter. I shoved him angrily. Dogs shouldn't tower over their masters. Kneel. The scholarship student's survival depended on my mercy here at this gilded academy. After tense silence, Liam knelt with one knee touching the floor, watching his dark crown of hair. Thrilling power surged through me. Good dog, I commanded, taking his chilled, slender hand to dry finger by finger. His submissive gaze clung like spiderwebs as I relished this reversal. The protagonist, the true heir, reduced to obeying me for tuition money. Liam, my lips curled. You hate this, don't you? Be my dog for the rest of your life. Ethan Smith, how long are you planning to keep him around? Ryan Davis complained through gritted teeth as Liam Johnson once again used my meal card to get food. It's been a week. Shouldn't you be done playing by now? He drummed impatient fingers on the cafeteria table, glaring at Liam who stood out like a crane among chickens. As my loyal companion, Liam no longer wore faded old uniforms. I dressed him head to toe in new clothes and styled his bangs back to reveal those intense eyes. Now, he carried himself with the aloof dignity of wealthy young masters. Yet his direct gaze remained unchanged. My vanity thoroughly satisfied, I leaned back waiting for Liam's return while chatting with Ryan. Don't you find this entertaining? Just yesterday, Liam had helped me ace the group quiz, earning me a sports car from my parents. The tiniest fraction of my resources made him address me as young Master Ethan with utmost respect, though all this should have rightfully been his. Ryan frowned in confusion. He's as lively as a brick wall. What's entertaining about that? I chuckled, ready to explain when my smile froze. A girl had stopped Liam, and shockingly, the boy who normally ignored everyone was bending down to listen intently. Annoyance prickled my skin as I crossed my legs, watching closely. For the first time, he didn't immediately look my way. Those strange hazel eyes, usually cold and predatory, now softened as he patiently responded to the petite girl. Was that a smile twitching at his lips? Ryan poked my arm obliviously. Hey Ethan, isn't that the scholarship girl who likes him? Lives near your estate, right? As the girl gestured towards seats, apparently inviting him, her profile did look familiar. I forced a scoff. Who'd be that blind? My peripheral vision caught Liam shaking his head, inexplicably calming my irritation. When familiar footsteps finally approached, Liam set down a tray and milk carton. I grabbed the milk and threw it at him. Took you long enough. Trying to starve me? My apologies. Young Master Ethan. His tone lacked sincerity. Distracted, he hastily opened the milk and inserted a straw before blurting, I need to go. Stop right there. I snapped. He paused mid-turn, eyebrows raised in question. I didn't give permission. I huffed. His lips quirked in that infuriating half-smile as those hazel eyes met mine. Even house dogs need walks sometimes. Young master. Then he strode off toward the waiting girl, leaving me with the absurd sensation that I was the leashed pet, not him. An arm draped over my shoulders from behind. Forget him, Ryan coaxed. Come to my place tonight? Like my parents. Ryan's were perpetually busy, though he had the advantage of a sister. Ethan. Emily Davis launched herself at me the moment we entered, hugging tightly. Welcome back. Emily. Let go. Ryan tossed me house slippers, his smile vanishing as he scolded his sister. Men and women shouldn't touch each other. Emily Davis stuck out her tongue playfully. Ryan, you're just jealous, aren't you? Ethan Smith sighed in exasperation. Since middle school, Emily had become obsessed with BL comics and constantly teased Ethan about Ryan Davis. After multiple failed attempts to correct her, Ethan gradually stopped visiting their house and became wary of physical contact with Ryan. Ryan had once complained bitterly, Ethan, I thought we were bros. Why you gotta be so guarded around me? Under her brother's glare, Emily finally quieted down. Ryan led Ethan to his room, casually mentioning, the housekeeper took today off. You can crash in my room tonight. We're both guys anyway. When Ethan hesitated, Ryan dropped his head and gave him those puppy dog eyes. I've been holding back from messing with Liam Johnson for your sake. This is how you treat your best friend. Before Ethan knew it, Ryan's smooth talking had him sprawled on the couch beside Ryan. While Ryan fiddled with his gaming console, Ethan pulled a comic wedged between the cushions. My childhood friend is so annoying? The cover showed a short-haired girl being embraced from behind by a tall boy in wholesome manga style. Flipping through pages depicting shared childhood moments, being born together, brushing teeth side by side, walking to school, Ethan snorted. You actually read this boring stuff? Ryan suddenly lunged, clutching the comic protectively. You saw? He stammered, ears turning crimson. Totally, Ethan drawled triumphantly. Who knew you had such girly tastes? It's Emily's. Ryan blurted, studying Ethan's reaction. Doesn't this gross you out? Why would it? Ethan shrugged. Seems normal to me. Like how some girls inexplicably preferred Liam over a catch like him. That girl had terrible taste, choosing some mutt over a pedigreed hottie. Ryan's grip suddenly tightened on Ethan's shoulders, pinning him against the couch. You mean that? His voice dropped dangerously low, shadowed eyes burning through his bangs. What's wrong with you? Ethan kicked Ryan's shin, smacking his head. Get off. Ryan easily restrained Ethan's wrists, legs trapping his. Don't you see? He growled, tendons straining in his neck. We're exactly like them, eating together, gaming, school, inseparable. Terrified by this unrecognizable version of his childhood friend, Ethan's voice cracked. They're lovers. We're both guys. Ryan chuckled darkly. Dumb Ethan. So were they. The rest blurred, Ryan's laugh dismissing it as a joke. Ethan fleeing through the dark mansion. The empty living room lights glared like predators' eyes. Shivering, Ethan desperately wished for a loyal guard dog, something warm and steady to bury his face in, who'd always wait faithfully no matter how late he returned. If Ryan Davis keeps messing with me like this, I'll set the dogs on him until he's dead. My eyes widened as I scrambled to find Liam Johnson's number and hit dial. The call connected in 3 seconds flat. Young master. His voice was flat, giving nothing away. For some reason, that made me relax slightly. Liam, I need to see you right now. I commanded imperiously. Take a cab here immediately. I'll cover the fare. Several seconds of silence followed. I thought I heard a faint sigh. Ethan. He switched to my name. Do you know what time it is? 11 o'clock. What of it? I glanced at the wall clock before catching his meaning. I'll double your payment. The dormitory curfew started an hour ago. The frustration in his voice was barely contained. My grip tightened on the phone. I understood his unspoken refusal perfectly. He didn't want to come. The sour taste of rejection made me clench my jaw as I forced out a careless tone. Oh, fine then. Apologies. I hung up before he finished. In the dark, text notifications popped up like bubbles in a soda messages from Ryan. Not ready to make up but unable to fully ignore him. I locked my phone and threw it aside. Just as I settled into bed, the shrill ringtone started blaring. Decline call. Redial. Decline again. Redial. After several rounds, I finally snapped and answered. Stop pestering me. You creep. Leave me alone. Dead silence greeted me. Not even breathing sounds. Checking the caller ID, rebellious stray. It was Liam. My voice faltered before defaulting to harshness. Why are you calling so late? Yet I found myself holding my breath, straining to hear his faint respiration through the receiver. Slow and controlled, like spider silk. I could easily picture his cold, fierce features on the other end. Those thin eyelids lowered, dark lashes veiling his gaze as he stared at my contact name. What does Liam have saved for me? What expression hides behind those amber eyes? Annoyance? Resignation? Anxiety? He called back immediately despite everything. Pathetic. Liam. My mood lifted instantly. I didn't rush to speak, savoring the tension as I counted his breaths, thrilling at the challenge of deciphering emotions beneath that icy exterior. After nearly a minute of bizarre silence, he finally spoke. If you can't sleep, want to talk? I burst into derisive laughter. Wow, scholarship kid. Where do you get the nerve to waste my time with nonsense? More silence. When it became clear he wouldn't respond, I reluctantly offered an olive branch. Hey, if you're begging, do it properly. I twirled a lock of hair. My time's valuable, you know. MHM. The electronic distortion made his voice deeper, almost tender. His next words struck like thunder. I'm lonely. Would the young master please take pity and chat with me? When I woke, my phone had died. I didn't even remember falling asleep. Staring at my yawning reflection in the mirror, I shifted uncomfortably. Liam Johnson, that idiot, brought up the topic of those math problems I couldn't solve during our group quiz that day. And I actually spent the whole night discussing equations with him. How pathetic. To avoid walking to school with Ryan Davis again. I wolfed down breakfast and left half an hour early without waiting for the chauffeur. The streets were still hazy with morning mist, the chilly air making me curse my own stubbornness when a pair of shoes appeared before me. Not designer, but impeccably clean with perfectly tied laces. Looking up, I met those burnt caramel eyes that remained sharp even through the fog. His heavy-lidded gaze pressed down with tangible weight, forcing me to retreat half a step. What do you want? I snapped, crossing my arms. Liam wordlessly produced a warm milk carton from his jacket. I eyed his outstretched hand but didn't take it. What gave you the impression we're close enough for this? I scoffed. Don't overthink it, he said flatly. Just doing my job. His pale fingers pushed the carton into my palm. I don't like milk. Help me out, Ethan Smith. So the golden boy has flaws after all. Sking. I sneered. Pickiness doesn't suit you, Liam. At this rate, even Ryan Davis will outmatch your scrawny ass. The ghost of a smile flickered across his lips as he bowed his head, dark bangs obscuring those unsettling eyes. His submissive posture revealed the pale column of his throat, that invisible collar I held tightening around my fingers. Walk with me to school, he murmured like a prayer. The sharp slap of my palm against his cheek echoed through the mist. His Adam's apple bobbed as those caramel eyes fixated on my wrist. Move along then, I conceded, lips curling around the title. Good dog. Ryan Davis arrived during morning study hall, storm clouds darkening his features. His rumpled uniform gaped open as he slammed both palms against my classroom window. Through the glass, his snarling lips formed silent words. Why'd you ditch me? I turned away. Let the teacher deal with his tantrum. Some strays just can't take a hint. After class, Ryan Davis cornered me in the hallway. I glared coldly and said, a well-behaved person doesn't block the way. Woof woof. He grinned shamelessly. Did you have breakfast? If you didn't want to see me, why starve yourself? When I heard you left early, I ran here as fast as I could. I almost died. He was a full head taller than me and had muscles built from playing basketball. When I pushed him, his solid frame didn't budge. So I chose to stay silent as my way to deal with him. Come on, Ethan. Ryan softened his voice and clasped his hands as if in prayer. I was just joking. I never meant to scare you. Guys hug each other all the time, right? He grabbed a lackey by the collar. Under Ryan's threatening gaze, the terrified boy stammered in agreement. You're talking nonsense. I snapped, my cheeks puffing up with indignation. Ryan's eyes lit up as if he'd gotten an important order. Leaning down, his chestnut-colored crew cut tickled my neck as he whispered hoarsely, "Please don't ignore me like this. I can't stand it." His public display of affection made me blush. "You started this. My fault." Ryan murmured and tentatively rested his head on my shoulder. When I turned to shrug him off, I caught my breath. Liam Johnson stood still by the window, his hazel eyes fixed on us. The sunlight seemed cold where it touched him, and those strange light brown irises were swirling with dark emotions. A shiver ran through me. My sudden movement made Ryan lose his balance. He stumbled forward and caught both of us with his warm hands that lingered on my waist for too long. "Whoops, I'm so clumsy," he grinned, looking innocent. Before I could react, a chair screeched behind us. Liam approached like an approaching storm. Ryan put his arm possessively over my shoulder and whispered, "By the way, your phone was busy all night yesterday. Who kept you up?" "Ethan." Liam's voice cut through, completely ignoring Ryan. "Someone's looking for you outside." Ryan's jaw tightened. "Do you have a death wish, scholarship boy?" He took out a black card. "My sweet Ethan pities every stray. But strays are strays for a reason." He pressed the edge of the card against Liam's throat. "Take this and disappear." I grabbed Ryan's arm. "Who said you can decide?" "He's using you," Ryan growled. "This poor guy has schemes you can't even imagine." Liam's lips formed a cold smile. "My loyalty," he said slowly, his eyes locked on mine, "belongs only to Ethan Smith." The air was filled with tension as the two boys faced off, Ryan with his athletic build against Liam's sharp intensity. My heart started racing. Since when had quiet Liam Johnson learned to stare down Ryan Davis? "You have no right." The low, firm voice made Ryan Davis instantly furious. "You motherfucker." Ryan clenched his fist and slammed it into Liam Johnson's face. Liam's back crashed into surrounding desks with a bang, collapsing to the floor as chaos erupted in the classroom. Students screamed and ran out to fetch teachers. Ryan's eyes burned with violence as he grabbed Liam's collar, straddling the fallen boy and raising his fist without hesitation. "Ryan, stop." Ethan Smith desperately wrapped his arms around Ryan's waist from behind, his heart threatening to burst from his chest, cold sweat drenching his body. Ryan stiffened, snarling viciously, "Ethan, you're protecting him? What's wrong with you? Even when beating a dog, you should consider its owner." "Ryan Davis, I forbid you to touch him," Ethan shouted, seeing Liam covering his face in stunned silence. Blood seeped through the pale fingers hidden beneath his disheveled bangs. Ethan's heart clenched, fury boiling over. Between yesterday's pranks and today's violence, Ethan's opinion of Ryan had plummeted to rock bottom. "Keep this up and we're done being friends." "Fuck." Ryan threw Liam aside, turning with bloodshot eyes to roar, "Ethan, are you pretending to be stupid or are you actually stupid?" His face contorted, veins bulging on his crimson neck, expression twisted with unbearable frustration. His agonized glare confused Ethan completely. Ethan retreated half a step instinctively, which seemed to shatter something in Ryan. Moisture welled in his eyes before he savagely rubbed his sleeve across his face, scraping his eyelids raw. "Stop playing your damn pet training games. You're getting addicted." He jabbed fingers at Liam then himself, breathing ragged. "Wake up. You have to choose him or me." He shoved through the gawking crowd and stormed out. Ethan's mind reeled, rooted to the spot. Why force this choice? What did he mean about addiction? A pained groan from Liam snapped him back. "Pathetic. Serves you right for provoking a loose cannon." Ethan scolded while helping him up, surprised by his bony frame's unexpected weight. Suddenly, a questioning voice cut through. "Ethan?" Emily Davis squeezed through the crowd, eyeing Ethan's support of Liam with displeasure. "We need to talk." Outside the infirmary, Emily sat beside Ethan on a bench, clutching textbooks. "Ryan didn't sleep all night. Came looking for you first thing. Skipped breakfast. Forgot his books." She bit her lip. "He was lost." Guilt twinged as Ethan mumbled, Just a fight. It'll blow over. Don't lie. Emily's smile held no humor. Ryan would never truly fight with you. Ethan snorted. He threatened me today over some nonsense. Ethan. She hesitated. Do you like that boy inside? What? Ethan sprang up, outraged. Are you insulting me? I'd never fall for a pet. Just a pet? Her gaze flickered behind Ethan before she smiled tightly. Good. Many poor kids try climbing the social ladder through rich benefactors. Ryan's just protecting you. She pulled Ethan down, squeezing his hand. Ethan, how long have you known Ryan versus that scholarship student? My brother grew up with you. He would never harm you. You two are cut from the same cloth. Emily Davis's words stung, but not because of her venomous assumptions. My chest tightened as I recalled the storyline where Liam Johnson would discard me, leaving me destitute and ordinary. Would that mean Ethan Smith and Ryan Davis would no longer share the same world? Why hadn't he reached out to help when I needed it most? Liar, I muttered under my breath. All those promises about being best friends forever and parental love felt like cheap lies. Emily frowned. What? Nothing. My voice turned flat as I kicked at the gravel. Tell Ryan to stop meddling in my affairs. Back at the infirmary, Liam sat motionless on the sterile bed. Moonlight streamed through the windows, casting a silver glow on his lanky frame. His bruised face remained lowered like a chastened dog awaiting punishment. Look at me. He tilted his head obediently, wincing slightly when I prodded his swollen cheekbone. Does this hurt? He nodded. Idiot. Why didn't you dodge? I snapped, irritation flaring. This guy who took every insult without protest was like a doormat. Do you enjoy being humiliated? Liam's voice came as soft as a moth's wings. Young Master Ethan must have his reasons. I let out a bark of laughter. Is your dignity so cheap? Liam Johnson? What won't you do for money? The unspoken question hung between us. Would Ryan Davis debase himself like this too? If he said yes, I'd discard him. If he refused, I'd still cast him aside. All I could offer was cold hard cash anyway. Time seemed to stretch as Liam gazed up at me with those burnt umber eyes. His unblinking stare turned bloodshot, showing his vulnerability. My pulse quickened. An annoyance prickled like static. I slapped my palm over his face, feeling his feathery lashes brush my skin. Close your eyes before I gouge them out. Ticklish. He murmured against my hand. Shut up. I pressed harder, and his eyelids fluttered like trapped butterflies under my grip. The sudden urge to pull my hand away surged. Forget I asked. A milk carton appeared in my peripheral vision. Liam's lips, still covered by my palm, formed the words. Thirsty, Ethan? I viciously bit the straw, imagining Ryan's neck between my teeth. The empty carton made a satisfying crunch under my shoe when I stepped on it. Liam retrieved the crumpled trash, turning his battered face half away from me. Walk on the other side, I ordered, wrinkling my nose at his battered appearance. To block the sunlight, he explained softly, positioning himself as a living parasol. The small act of kindness brought a warmth that I quickly suppressed. You owe me this much, I sniffed and strode ahead. Ruined my friendship with Ryan because of you, didn't you? Ethan Smith replied patiently, yes. When they returned to the classroom, the mess had been cleaned up. The homeroom teacher called them to his office. I've heard the details. Ryan Davis threw the first punch. He paused. But some classmates mentioned bullying incidents in our class. Liam Johnson. Is this true? Ethan's heart skipped a beat. He instinctively looked at Liam Johnson. If Liam revealed everything, the teacher would contact their parents. The Smiths and Johnsons would meet, and the biological parents would recognize their child. Then he'd be cast out of the family. The scenario he'd feared would come true, leaving him in utter despair. His palms grew sweaty, and his stomach churned with nausea. He pleaded with his eyes, but those caramel-colored eyes remained as aloof as ever. Yes, he drawled. Thud. Ethan's heart sank. It's false. Liam Johnson finished his sentence, lowering his lashes and looking at Ethan with a hidden amusement. They were just joking with me. The relief steadied Ethan's frantic heartbeat. He exhaled in relief and felt an unexpected sense of gratitude towards Liam. But this fragile truce shattered when Liam accepted a pink envelope from a girl. Ethan Smith. stammered the same girl from the cafeteria who'd confronted Liam before. She thrust the letter into his arms and scurried away like a frightened rabbit. Am I really that scary? Ethan glared at her retreating back, grinding his teeth. Show me, he demanded, holding out his hand. No. For the second time, Liam defied him for that girl. He carefully put the envelope away, his lips curving into an enigmatic smile. Anger flared up in Ethan. He slapped Liam's arm. How dare you disobey me now? Are you jealous? His smile disappeared. Those caramel eyes turned cold, a look he'd never given Ethan before. Do you like her? The question made Ethan's insides twist. How dare his own subordinate challenge him over some girl? Yes, he lied through gritted teeth. So don't you even think about competing with me? Liam stared at him for what seemed like an eternity before nodding. Although he got the answer he wanted, Ethan's frustration grew stronger than ever. Ryan Davis was suspended for 3 days for fighting. Meanwhile, Ethan and Liam entered a Cold War, which was evident in Liam's refusal to look at Ethan. The familiar and comforting feeling of Liam's gaze was gone. In the morning, there was still milk in Ethan's desk. At lunchtime, food magically appeared in the cafeteria. During group work, answers showed up on folded notes. Everything remained the same, except that Liam always averted his eyes. He went back to wearing his shabby clothes, and his dark bangs cast a shadow over his face, making him look like a gloomy specter haunting Ethan's periphery. Determined to outlast Liam, Ethan flaunted his new friendships. He even befriended Sophia Brown from his gated community. He swaggered over to Liam's desk and boasted, "Clearly, I'm a better match for her. Liam Johnson, know your place. Don't have any delusions." Liam's pen stopped in the middle of a sentence. Ethan's gaze dropped to his hands, pale, aristocratic fingers with visible veins, looking like flawless jade. He remembered the warmth and weight of those hands on his skin, and the memory suddenly made him uncomfortable. When he looked up, Liam was already looking at him, his expression unfathomable. His amber eyes, partially obscured by his bangs, stared directly at me with an intensity one hadn't seen in ages. Silent yet burning. Ryan Davis asked hoarsely, "What if I insist on clinging to you?" Furious, I stomped my foot. "Then we'll see about that. After school, I asked Sophia Brown to walk home together." To my surprise, the blushing girl nodded eagerly. While secretly pleased with my charm, I felt a twinge of guilt about Liam Johnson. Our laughter abruptly died when we reached my doorstep. In the fading light, Ryan sat hunched on the steps, his face shadowed except for the glowing cigarette tip between his lips. The ground was littered with crushed butts. "Ryan," I approached warily. "Since when do you smoke?" "Ethan," he rasped, reeking of tobacco and despair. "I might be transferring abroad." "What? So soon?" I blurted. In the original storyline, he wasn't supposed to leave until senior year. Who was that girl? Ryan ignored my question, stubbing his cigarette violently as he loomed over me. "Is she chasing you? Or are you chasing her?" "Ryan." I flipped him off. "None of your damn business." "Ethan." His volcanic eyes glowed red in the streetlight. When he grabbed my wrist, his palm felt clammy and desperate. "I don't want to fight. Please, would you consider transferring abroad with me?" My reflexive no made him flinch like I'd struck him. "Why?" Ryan demanded, his grip bruising as his wolfish pupils pinned me. Panic surged as I grasped for excuses. I needed to monitor Liam, protect my family position. Because of Liam, the world spun as Ryan crushed me against him. His cold lips silenced mine, stealing my breath. I froze like prey as his teeth grazed my neck. Biology class facts flashed through my mind. How bears skin prey alive with their tongues. Liam again? God damn it, Ethan. Ryan's anguished voice shook as he buried his face in my neck. When will I matter to you? Tears soaked his shirt as we trembled together. His choked confession burned against my pulse point. Ethan Smith, I'm in love with you. My heartbeat thundered in response, loud enough for both of us to hear. A few moths circled around the streetlight, persistently bumping against the lampshade with dull thuds. Thump, thump, like emotions receding with the tide, the most intense waves having withdrawn to leave shallow waters gently nudging the shore. creating small ripples. Ryan Davis likes me? A guy liking another guy? I froze in his embrace, forgetting to push him away. Ryan tentatively loosened his grip before lowering his voice into a husky murmur. This isn't impulsive or a joke. I've liked you for a long time, Ethan. I stammered. Why? Ryan countered. Only hating someone needs justification. Ethan Smith. Think carefully. Do you truly dislike me? Why haven't you pushed me away? We've always been together. You're just used to being friends. But even as lovers, nothing between us would change. My thoughts tangled as I looked up. Ryan cradled my face, his gaze intense. I'll always be with you. The dam in my heart began crumbling. Maybe he was right. Since childhood, he'd always been there. Let him go. An icy voice cut through. I whirled around to see a blur. Ryan released me, immediately clashing with the newcomer. Under moonlight, they fought like feral beasts. Damn. Ryan was slammed to the ground. The victor, back to me, methodically swung his fists like a machine. Moonlight revealed the black wristband on his arm. Liam Johnson. Liam didn't pause, delivering a final brutal punch to Ryan's abdomen. Only when Ryan curled up defenseless did he rise. Yet as Liam approached me, the battered Ryan shouted, Ethan. Instantly, Liam seized my wrist, dragging me into a sprint. Night wind roared in my ears as I stumbled along, feeling like a kite yanked by its string. My lungs burned, tears blurring our clasped hands. This aimless dash felt like elopement, escaping to the world's end. Stop. I gasped. He halted abruptly, sending me crashing into his rock-hard chest. My nose stung, eyes watering. God, was his chest made of steel? A hand rubbed my back soothingly. As I straightened, I slapped him hard across the face. The sharp crack didn't budge him. Liam gazed down with glowing amber eyes that chilled my blood. I struck again. Why did you hit Ryan? Master. Liam calmly caught my trembling hand, enveloping it in his warm palm. Patiently, he repeated, Ethan. Shut up. Shut up, shut up. I yanked back my stinging hand, voice breaking. Tears streamed as I pummeled him hysterically. Why did you come so late? The words escaped before I could stop them. What I meant to scream was, why must you exist? Why ignore me? Why stay indifferent? Why didn't you come? Then why did you come? And why so late? Why are you real while I'm fake? I hate you. You're like my nemesis, making me tremble with fear and lose sleep over you. Liam Johnson. I detest you. Liam. My voice cracked as I looked up through tear-blurred eyes. I'm scared. Forgive me. He bowed his head and stepped forward to shield me from the cold wind. Scaling the wall took longer than expected. It's my fault. I grabbed his shirt front with my fist and sniffled. Don't stand over me. Kneel. He immediately dropped to one knee. Tentatively, I ran my fingers through his hair and gave him gentle scalp massages. His dry, soft hair carried a faint citrus scent. Sweeping his bangs back revealed those eyes. I kept stroking his head. Ryan Davis never let me touch his hair. As a boy, he'd claim, touching men's hair stunts growth. Later, he changed it to, only wives can touch men's heads. Guess Liam doesn't need more height. Being poor, he'd never find a wife anyway. He maintained eye contact throughout, unnervingly calm. The moonlight melted into his honey gold irises, softening his naturally intense gaze. I suddenly chuckled, patted the top of his head, and then scratched under his chin. Good boy. Liam's lips twitched, and his features softened. Meeting my eyes, he formed the word with his tongue pressed. Woof. After taking a week off school, Ryan's seat was empty when I returned. Emily Davis delivered his letter and hesitated. Ethan, whatever happened between you two, my brother truly values your friendship. Could you? I shook my head and gestured at Liam nearby. My dog is vicious. It won't tolerate competition. Emily stamped her foot. Stop joking. Just get rid of the stray. How can you compare him to Ryan? I prefer pets over people. I idly watched Liam. Even standing still, he attracted attention, his tall frame and striking features contrasting with his status as a scholarship student. Those amber eyes remained fixed on me like spiderwebs, all-encompassing and inescapable. Freak. Hiding a smile, I approached him, Keep the bangs down. Behind me came the familiar response. As you wish, Master Ethan. Emily chased after us. You're not actually into him? You called him your dog yourself. She glared at Liam. No self-respect? Not angry at being treated like an animal? Correct. Liam stated calmly. I enjoy it. You're both insane. Emily's shout echoed as we parted ways. I gradually integrated Liam into every aspect of my life, from daily outfits and meals to academic tracks, college applications, and even career planning. His unwavering compliance fed my addiction to control until senior year, when everyone knew that Ethan Smith kept a loyal, silent, and razor-sharp dog named Liam Johnson. He'd immediately surrender his hardship grants and academic awards, though the Smith heir scarcely noticed such small things. The whispers never reached me, nor did I care, until Ryan's email arrived. He knew me too well and embedded the message in the subject line. One glance froze my blood. Process text with replacements and translation. When he texted, Ethan, I know you're a fraud. I hid in the bathroom, holding my breath as I opened the email. The first things that popped up were a paternity test report and a photo. The former confirmed I shared no blood relation with my parents. The latter was a decade-old news article about my parents' charity donation to an orphanage. In the corner of the photo stood a younger, paler, and gloomier version of Liam Johnson. While everyone else faced the camera, he tilted his head slightly, staring directly at me. Chills erupted across my skin. I doubled over the toilet, gagging, but nothing came up. The milk I just swallowed now felt like icy needles weighing down my stomach. A bitter, rancid milky taste coated my tongue. When I tried to delete the email, my hands trembled violently. Then, the cursed ringtone blared. Clatter. My phone hit the floor, the screen flashing an unknown number. Visions of the story's plot, where I'd end up bullied and abandoned, flooded my mind. Shakily answering, I hissed through tears. Ryan Davis, what the hell do you want? Ethan. Unlike my panic, Ryan's voice was leisurely, almost amused. He sighed softly. It's been so long since I've heard your voice. Are you going to tell the Smiths? My defiance crumbled. We'd parted on terrible terms. I deleted every trace of him, severing years of history. Why would he protect me now? Tears streamed unchecked. Desperately, I wondered if I could at least keep the unlimited black card when they kicked me out. And Liam, how would he treat me once he knew I had no right to boss him around? People change. Ryan changed. Liam would too. My thoughts spiraled like a derailed train until Ryan's voice cut through. Why would I tell them? He chuckled, tone dripping with temptation. We've always been close, haven't we? I clung to his flimsy lifeline, not caring if it was a thread or a trap. Exactly, Ryan. So you'll dump Liam and date me instead, right? Ryan finished smoothly. Minutes later, I splashed water on my face and stumbled out of the men's restroom, only to collide with someone at the corner. Careful, Master Ethan. Liam steadied my shoulders, his hazel eyes scanning from my face downward. He lifted my wrist to roll up my damp sleeve. I jerked back as if burned. How long were you standing here? The teacher noticed you'd been gone too long. I was about to check on you. His expression gave nothing away. His thumb brushed my tear-stained cheek. You've been crying. Don't touch me. Ryan's warning echoed in my ears. I sidestepped Liam, muttering, I'm fine. Let's go back. He didn't move. As I passed him, he grabbed my wrist. Ethan, you're hiding something. His certainty chilled me. He'd always been like a mind reader, attuned to my every mood. Now, that felt suffocating. A mud stain I couldn't scrub off. He's not a pawn I control anymore. He's Ryan's leverage, a burning trap. I scowled, wrenching free. Let go. You're so annoying. Liam's lips pressed into a faint line, his gaze unreadable, almost wounded. I avoided his eyes and sprinted to class, my heart in chaos. Guilt? Remorse? Reluctance? These emotions don't matter. I only love myself. My hands clenched tightly under the desk as I repeated to myself. Ethan Smith, humans are inherently selfish. Therefore, feel no guilt, no hesitation, no reluctance, no sadness. I began actively distancing myself from Liam Johnson. Initially, By refusing to have lunch with him. My parents hired a nutritionist. Every meal is carefully planned. I threw the milk back onto his desk. Don't bring me milk anymore. I don't need it. Understood. Liam Johnson immediately tossed the milk into the trash without blinking, his gaze devout and focused. Unnecessary things shouldn't exist. This seems wasteful. I couldn't help glancing at the trash can. Young master. Liam Johnson blocked my view, correcting me. Your excessive compassion is the real waste here. He was right. So next, I started avoiding conversations with him. Liam Johnson possessed an alluring magnetism, like a deceptively calm pond. Only when lured to the center by beautiful algae and harmless water lilies would one discover he's actually man-eating quicksand. By then, escape becomes impossible. I resembled a traveler struggling in that pond. Every step away intensified the silent downward pull. Liam Johnson never interfered with my other relationships. He'd simply materialize like a specter during our most lively gatherings, casting scorching, undisguised stares from shadowed corners. His gaze functioned like dangerous lure lights, candle flames flickering behind glass. A moment's carelessness could bring fiery destruction. Ryan Davis had someone secretly photograph Liam Johnson watching me. Ethan, why won't you behave? His relentless pressure frayed my nerves. He has free will. If he won't leave, what can I do? Ryan Davis chuckled darkly through the phone. His voice honeyed. I'm considering your well-being. I offered to fund his overseas study, but you refused. Each word felt like an interrogation. Ethan, are you reluctant to let him go? No, I just want to keep him nearby for easier monitoring. My feeble defense crumbled under his scrutiny. Having him around draws more attention. You feel guilty toward him. I don't. No one understood my terror. I couldn't explain this world's fictional nature. How Liam Johnson was the protagonist while we're merely doomed side characters. My desperate control was simply self-preservation. Humans are selfish. Loving myself, what's wrong with that? Across the ocean, Ryan Davis's voice deepened with maturity. In that case, I have a perfect solution. Sophia Brown from the parallel class likes you, doesn't she? Order Liam Johnson to pursue her. Hiding in the garden shrubs, I watched Liam Johnson and Sophia Brown standing together on the breezeway, shredding leaves between nervous fingers. Autumn wind carried fragments of their conversation. Birthday gift. Confession. Sophia Brown gazed up at Liam Johnson with starry-eyed admiration. He stood quietly, his characteristic silence making this extended conversation significant. Bitterly, I admitted Ryan Davis was partially right, no matchmaking needed. Liam Johnson seemed genuinely interested. When Liam Johnson returned, I casually inquired, "What do you think of Sophia Brown?" His brow furrowed. Remembering my previous warnings about not stealing my prospects, I quickly clarified, "I'm not interested. Feel free to pursue her if you like. I don't like her." His chilled voice assessed me. "Ethan Smith, you've been acting strangely lately." My silence provoked his razor-sharp perception. "You're avoiding me." I bit my lip and averted my gaze. No. He shifted positions, kneeling until his knee pressed against my calf as he looked up. "Young master." My eyes instinctively found his face. After 6 months under my care, Liam Johnson no longer carried the gauntness from his school days. His superior genetics had blossomed into striking handsomeness, particularly those tea-colored eyes set in deep sockets that made my pulse quicken. He grasped my wrist, pressing his closed eyes into my palm. The tickle of his lashes traveled through my veins like wildfire, parching my throat. When I coughed, his eyelids fluttered against my skin. "Ask your question now, Ethan." I'd long noticed Liam rarely used my given name. When he called me young master, he became pliant clay in my hands, indulging my every whim without pride or pretense. But Ethan inverted our roles, tension coiling in my shoulders as I inexplicably felt diminished before him. This dissonance haunted me, yet I'd already sunk knee-deep in quicksand. Choking back resentment, I forced out the words, "Liam, do you hate me?" His answer would be truth, our unspoken pact. No. Another absolution. What if? My throat tightened. What if you rise to greatness while I wallow in poverty? Would you take revenge? How destitute. Living in a closet-sized apartment. I rasped. I shut, biking to school, wearing weekly repeats, picking parsley scraps from takeout. His shoulder shook with suppressed laughter. Had I released my hand, his eyes would have outshone even Sophia's that day. Stop laughing. I kicked his shin. Apologies. The imagery. He schooled his features. It won't happen. You'll never know poverty. Frustration bubbled. My future ruin would be his doing. How can you promise that? I swear it. His caramel eyes burned with unspoken intensity. The thunderous heartbeat in my ears nearly drowned my whisper. I swear too, Liam. You'll achieve greatness. On my birthday morning, the secretary called apologetically. The CEOs are attending a gala. Your gift arrives shortly. Happy birthday, young master. Thanks. I finished piping the lopsided cake's final swirl. The doorbell revealed Liam holding an exquisite pastry. Happy birthday, young master. My smile froze as I thrust forward my monstrosity. Happy birthday. He examined the lumpy creation. Today's not my birthday. I'm an orphan. It is now. I lifted my chin. Dogs inherit their master's birthdays. His chuckle rumbled. As you say, young master. Call me Ethan today. I ushered him inside, the weight of our promises hanging heavier than any birthday wish. The intense gaze burning into my back felt like it could bore holes through me. I plugged in the candles and ordered Liam Johnson to make a wish. Keeping his eyes open, he pressed his palms together and bowed his head reverently towards me. I wish, he began, but I immediately covered his mouth with my hand. Shoo! If you say it out loud, it won't come true. His amber eyes locked onto mine, the candlelight dancing in their depths as his lips formed silent words against my palm. Ghostly kisses that made my heart race like panicked doves taking flight, their fluttering wings momentarily blinding me. I withdrew my hand, secretly clenching my fist. My parents' gifts arrived as expected. Checks, the latest gaming console, and a carload of presents from business partners. I had the driver bring all the boxes inside, methodically unwrapping each one: ties, cufflinks, watches, leather journals, custom-made shoes, various accessories. I held up a striped necktie against Liam's chest. Like it? He submitted to my styling. You prefer this style? When I nodded, he mirrored me. Then I like it. A pair of designer glasses followed. Whatever he approved, I piled into his arms. 30 minutes later, surrounded by torn wrapping paper, I surveyed the transformed Liam, impeccable in a tailored black suit, crisp collar secured by a narrow tie, gold-rimmed glasses softening his sharp gaze, his pale complexion glowing like moonlit frost. His overgrown hair was now tied back with a simple hairband. For a breathless moment, I saw the future tycoon he was destined to become, until reality snapped back as Liam knelt before me with familiar deference. You have something to tell me, Ethan? I gripped his tie, yanking hard. He caught himself inches from my face, arms caging me in a mock embrace. Slowly, I wound the silk around my fist, tightening until the Windsor knot pressed against his Adam's apple. The exchange student nomination. I submitted your application. It's approved. His pupils dilated as I delivered the verdict. This dog training game ends here. His controlled mask fractured. Why? I smoothed his crumpled tie, smirking, because this master got bored. The doorbell's third ring triggered Liam's desperate grip on my wrist. You don't need me anymore? Exactly. Ryan Davis swaggered in, jingling keys. Happy birthday, baby. His tanned hand gripped my neck as he stage whispered during our hug. Smile properly. I forced a grin. We need privacy, Liam. Ryan sneered. Scram. Mutt. Liam stood rigid, anguish bleeding through his icy composure. This is your choice? When I confirmed, his amber eyes simmered with molten intensity, as if his gaze could physically bind me to him. The suffocating silence broke with his trademark surrender. As you wish. On departure day, Ryan blocked me from seeing Liam off. Why bother? You never came when I left. He yanked me onto the couch, bitterness mingling with possessive satisfaction. The game had changed players, but the pieces kept moving. Do you know why I was sent abroad in the first place? It was him who snitched to my parents. Ryan Davis buried his furry head in the crook of my neck, whining, I told you this guy was shady. But you didn't believe me. Let go. I slapped his face. Ryan winced, frowning. What's your problem? I kept it brief. Get lost. He rolled off the couch, laughing bitterly. Wow, Ethan Smith. Stab me in the back now? Not afraid I'll tell your parents? Go ahead. I sneered. Tell them how you bullied their real son and drove him away. We'll go down together. Oh wait, I deleted all the evidence and the witness is gone. You think my parents would waste time listening to your bullshit when they're swamped with work? Ryan's face turned ashen, chest heaving. So you've been lying to me this whole time? I flipped him off. Go back to your study abroad. Never see you again. You fucking queer. Ethan. Ryan pinned me on the couch, iron-like fingers crushing my wrists. As I struggled to kick him, he trapped my legs with his knees. His pitch-black eyes burned with madness. Chills crawled up my spine as I faltered. Ryan, don't, Ethan Smith. I'm not Liam Johnson. I don't do pathetic groveling. He gripped my chin, voice icy. You invited the wolf into your house. Now deal with the consequences. I thrashed wildly, screaming the forbidden name anyway, Liam. Ryan's lips twisted into a predator's grin. I'm gonna fuck you to death tonight. Just as he leaned in, knock. 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 The door's steady rhythm continued despite Ryan's curses. Seizing the chance, I scrambled upstairs, locked the door, and dialed with trembling fingers. The number you've reached is unavailable, of course. Liam was probably boarding his flight now. Liam? Ryan's shocked roar echoed below. Violent crashes shook the house, furniture smashing, glass shattering, flesh pounding flesh. I pressed my ear to the door, heart pounding. Did he say Liam? The chaos continued. Overturned tables, splintering wood, brutal punches. Just as I debated calling 911, my phone lit up. Good boy. Liam's voice materialized in my ear. Ethan. Simultaneously, knuckles rapped my door. Open up. Hey, scholarship kid. No need for mutual destruction. Ryan's bloody chuckle approached upstairs. You want Ethan too, right? Let me tell you. He treats you like a fucking lapdog. Neither of us will ever have him. But I've got a solution. Don't rush to refuse. Ryan's voice grew nearer, footsteps creaking the stairs. I know Ethan's biggest secret. Interested? Every hair stood on end as my hand froze on the doorknob. Your precious Ethan, he's a fraud. Ryan's dual, layered voice penetrated wood and phone. Liam Johnson, you're the real Smith family heir. Crack. Lightning struck my spine. I collapsed to the floor. The second shoe has finally dropped. Think about it, Ethan. Everything he possesses rightfully belongs to you. Wealth, status, reputation, a bright future. Ryan's voice dripped with venomous jealousy. The door before him transforming into Pandora's box, ready to unleash calamity. That selfish bastard stole it all while bossing you around. Doesn't that infuriate you? Imagine seeing Liam stripped of everything, clinging to you desperately like you used to beg him. I'll help you reclaim the Johnson family legacy if you hand Ethan over to me. No, wait, we could share him. The beast shed its civilized disguise, drooling with greed. This way he'll stay completely, permanently, and devotedly ours. My limbs turned to ice. Would Liam take the bait? Of course he would. Hadn't I been clinging to my stolen privileges too? The web of fate tightened around me, with Liam suddenly holding the threads. My entire existence now hinged on his next decision. Finished? Liam's deep voice held neither anger nor urgency, just lethal calm. After several heartbeats of silence, Ryan suddenly slammed against the door with a choked cry. Thud. The impact drowned his curse. Then came rhythmic pounding like war drums, Liam smashing Ryan's head against the wood. Pathetic. The Johnson heir growled between impacts, each word hammered out like nails. I knew every damn secret already. Silence fell. 3 measured knocks echoed like gunshots against my ribs. Ethan. The command sliced through the door. Open. Now. I gulped, backing deeper into the room. 10 seconds until I break it down. Liam's calm threat froze my blood. Better move. He began counting. 10. 9. Click. I surrendered, opening the door with slumped shoulders. My peripheral vision caught Ryan's bloodied form sprawled in the hallway like trash. Dead? Liam stepped forward, I retreated but choked as something tightened around my neck. The striped tie I'd gifted him last Christmas. He yanked the makeshift leash, forcing me stumbling forward until our faces nearly touched. My trembling intensified at the sight before me. The Johnson heir looked monstrous. His torn white shirt hung in bloody tatters, exposing corded muscles and throbbing green veins. Dried blood crusted his knuckles and splattered across his pale neck like macabre war paint. Dark hair fell across Predator's eyes that gleamed through the strands. Liam, I stammered. I thought you left for the airport? Changed plans. His gravelly voice scraped my nerves. Why should an abandoned dog obey orders? When I dropped my gaze, he shocked me by kneeling, the blood-stained prince kneeling on filthy tiles. The crumpled tie slid from my neck back into my hands. Abandoning your pet isn't the mark of a good owner. Amber-colored eyes, thick like honey yet suffocating, lingered on my face as if they'd never left. Please show mercy, young master. Those eyes, along with countless fragmented memories, flashed through my mind. It's me who needs the young master, not the other way around. My only master is Ethan. Do you care about her that much? What if I insist on clinging to you? I'd savor every moment. I don't like her. I promise you, Ethan. You're abandoning me. You like Ethan too, don't you? That secret you mentioned I've known all along. What exactly did Liam say on my birthday? His lips brushed against my palm like whispered prayers. Grant me permission. I wanted to laugh, but my eyes burned. I wanted to sob, yet overwhelming pleasure crashed over me. I wanted to escape, only to realize I'd become an insect trapped in a spider's web. Every struggle only enticed the predator. Unbeknownst to me, the rope woven from his gaze had already coiled around my neck. Liam, you you son of a bitch. I suddenly yanked my tie tight around his neck. His pale skin flushed crimson immediately as he choked violently. Yet even then, he didn't resist, instead exposing his vulnerable throat like offering it for slaughter. His lips curled into a smile. I smirked too, tugging the tie to make him crawl forward on his knees. Leaning down, I patted his cheek. I considered letting you go, you damned pervert. Then you'll be my dog forever. Liam. He looked up, gaze burning with intensity, and deliberately enunciated, woof. Later I learned Sophia never liked Liam or me. I'm your CP shipper. Her starry eyes glued to our intertwined hands. You're finally together. Was it because of my matchmaking? Liam nodded solemnly. All thanks to you. Ah, Emily. I knew it. My ship has sailed. Sophia excitedly hugged Emily, who stood pouting nearby. Emily deadpanned. Back off. We're rival shippers. She stole a few glances at me before awkwardly approaching. Sorry, Ethan. I never realized how crazy Ryan was. Don't worry. My parents sent him far away. He won't bother you again. Also, that time during our talk when you said you'd never love a dog, Liam was right behind you. Emily's voice shrank to a whisper. I deliberately didn't tell you. I'm sorry. It's fine. I didn't mention Ryan still sends me hundreds of messages daily. I've mastered the trick to silence him. Simply remind him you pushed me into Liam's arms. Besides, I glanced at Liam, unsurprised to catch his unwavering stare. Back then, he probably enjoyed it anyway. After graduating from college, Liam Johnson joined the Smith family's company as Ethan Smith's assistant. To celebrate, Ethan gifted him a collar. Its narrow circumference created intense physical awareness. Every breath and swallow amplified the leather's pressure against his throat. Simultaneously, these amplified sounds reverberated in Ethan's ears through hidden sensors. Retract your fangs, Ethan commanded. You're hurting me. My apologies, Mr. Smith. Liam's labored breathing filled the office as he braced against the desk, his gaze traveling down to Ethan's waist. What's on your mind? Ethan demanded absolute mental control. Just thinking. Liam knelt suddenly, calloused palms cradling Ethan's calf. Though his voice remained glacial, fractures appeared in the icy tone. Your waist appears remarkably slender too, sir. The thaw came swiftly, plunging them into feverish entanglement. Afterward, Ethan watched through half-lidded eyes as Liam deftly gathered his hair into a bun secured by that cheap hair tie he never removed. Sentimental value? Ethan inquired. Liam's profile turned inscrutable. You don't remember? This was yours. Ethan searched his memory. Did we meet before? Some damsel in distress scenario where you became infatuated? Memorable indeed. Liam's lips curved without warmth. Eyes blazing. Not romance, vengeance. Ethan, I've nurtured this hatred for 6 years. Liam's perspective. After the orphanage blood tests revealed Liam's rare Rh-negative type, anemia became his constant companion. Precious blood type. Worthless orphan, the equation resolved itself in countless donations. Liam remembered the rubber tubes siphoning crimson life into sterile bags. That floating sensation, skull growing leaden while limbs turned weightless. During recovery, books became his refuge. God makes people prosper where they've suffered, one passage claimed. Staring at water-stained ceilings, Liam wondered what prosperity could justify such existence. The turning point came around age 7 when the Smith family philanthropists visited. The orphans stood frozen in threadbare holiday clothes as media entourages swarmed. What remained clearest was Ethan descending from the limousine, chestnut curls framing doll-like features, shearling boots crunching snow, a greenhouse orchid blinking at winter. While Ethan's parents conducted interviews, he flitted through the orphans' ranks asking inane questions. The other orphans fawned like worker bees, proffering broken toys for a scrap of attention. Liam observed from the periphery, quietly contemptuous. Then those luminous eyes found Liam. Your eyes. Delicate fingers brushed Liam's bangs aside. Like gemstones. Ethan's pupils mirrored Liam's gaunt reflection. Twin obsidian pools containing entire universes of privilege and deprivation. The wealthy always mistake suffering for ornamentation. Since growing up surrounded by gemstones, I've developed a peculiar fondness for glass. Could he not see that his own eyes were equally captivating? I dodged his reaching hand, readjusting my bangs to cover my eyes again. Others, fearing Ethan Smith's attention might shift to me, hastily tattled, "Young master, don't touch him, he's filthy." They sneered. Just look at his eyes. The bastard's clearly a half-breed. Ethan glared at them indignantly. He's not a bastard but mixed race. My own ancestors had foreign blood. Pleased with their cowed silence, the Smith heir lifted his chin triumphantly at me. I'll make them apologize. Oblivious to the disaster he'd just unleashed upon me. My gaze swept over the orphan mob, radiating venomous resentment. This world was God's torture chamber designed for me, my entire life steeped in malice. Confronted with such pristine stupidity, I surprised myself by laughing aloud. For once, I spoke gently, "Don't meddle in others' affairs." Ethan's beautiful features twisted in disbelief, the pampered heir unaccustomed to rejected charity. How dare you spurn kindness?" Flushed crimson, he stormed off to his parents. Soon, the elegant entrepreneur couple approached with their sniffling son in tow. I coldly raised my eyes. "Ethan, apologize to him properly." The woman nudged, offering me an apologetic smile. "Forgive him, we've spoiled our boy rotten." "But mother, he's the one who," Ethan protested before his father cut in. "We're being filmed. Don't embarrass us." The forced apology under camera lights only bred deeper hatred in those hazel eyes. What right had he to resent me? Did his almond-sized brain never consider how surviving a young master's apology might endanger me? I rarely despised anyone, but Ethan Smith earned my loathing from our first meeting. Why should prosperity crown him untouched by suffering, making my struggles seem laughable? After journalists dispersed, I noticed the director privately entertaining the Smiths, trailing the entourage surrounding the preening heir. I studied his pampered profile with venomous intent. Shouldn't such creatures taste true hardship? The curse manifested instantly. A pebble sent Ethan sprawling, blood gushing from his temple. As others fled accountability, he knelt weeping in filth like some lost lamb. My heart stirred strangely. His downfall somehow magnified my worth. Approaching footsteps crunched not on gravel, but on my accumulated miseries. Crouching before him, I offered my hand. Enough crying. Though pride warred with need, his trembling resolve crumbled. Chestnut hair brushed my cheek as he collapsed against me. Light as a sparrow, fragrant and downy soft. Carrying him felt like shedding layers of grime, poverty's weight, weakness's chains, humiliation's yoke sloughing away. Briefly, I held warmth and promise. When medical staff rushed Ethan away, His parents thanked me graciously. Returning the hair tie, Mrs. Smith demurred, "Keep it, suits your length." I didn't miss her concealed revulsion. The silken band around my wrist might as well have been a collar. My fingers retracted, clutching the diamond-studded hair tie as I nodded silently. They flipped through my medical report, discussing openly in front of me, "This child also has Rh-negative blood. We should keep him for Ethan, just in case." Once again, I was submerged in malice. The suffocating sensation of drowning crept from head to toe. Yet I remained motionless, watching shadowy vines entangle my legs, arms, and torso. When complete darkness enveloped me, the couple declared, "Let's get him examined first." The bitter irony, this rare blood type appearing in 4 individuals at one hospital. Even more absurd, the hospital mix-up. Was this fate's cruel joke? During the wait for the lab report, their heated argument reached me. "He's still my child," the woman insisted. "That orphan? We've been raising someone else's bastard." The man snapped. "The director said he's gloomy, uneducated. How could he compare to my Ethan? His eyes resemble your mother's. They unnerve me," she whispered. "We'll maintain the pretense," he concluded. By the door, I accidentally dislodged a diamond from the hair tie. Their swift reaction made me wonder if they'd intended me to hear. The man offered money. "Prove yourself superior to Ethan, and you'll be a Smith." The woman added, "We'll find you good adoptive parents. This world remains my prison cell. No prosperity could redeem it." For 6 years, I hated Ethan Smith, viewing his success as my failure, feeding on his pain. 6 years observing him from afar until our reunion. I wanted to witness what exquisite fruit my suffering had cultivated, what brilliant mind my sacrifice nurtured. Instead, I found a spoiled, shallow peacock trailing his garish entourage through hallways, absurdly sensitive to my gaze yet oblivious to real threats. When Ryan Davis cornered me in the restroom, I prepared to expose everything. But how naive Ethan thought slurs and kicks constituted torment. His feeble malice floated like paper boats against my iceberg, trembling when challenged, his faux ferocity as fragile as a bleeding lamb. 16 years taught me patience in this hellscape. Yet Ethan clung like a needy pet, abandoning pretense to seek approval like his former sycophants. But where they bowed to status, what compelled him? Mere compliance satisfied him? Was he this gullible, this starved for affection? If hatred sparked my interest, curiosity planted love's seed. His bluster to mask inner frailty, his hypocrisy, his overflowing self-pity, his shallow and ignorant mind, his transparent heart, his tears, his loneliness, his silent screams, his cracks. My gaze was the adhesive mending a crumbling statue. The more damaged he became, the more desperately he craved to fill his emptiness, heedless of self-harm. What I'd mistaken for prosperity was in truth his chamber of torment. Realization flooded me with savage triumph. I stared at Ethan Smith with feverish intensity, as though beholding discarded clay. So you suffer too. So you're equally abandoned. Twin brothers stewing in misery's crucible. But like left hand finding right, my compliance became the splinter in his bones while his agony twined through my flesh like strangling vines. In those moments, we were each other's abundance. I burned to possess him entirely, but an interloper demanded removal. Silence amplified Ryan Davis's clamor. Submission highlighted his defiance. Restraint exposed his gluttony. Forgiveness laid bare his pettiness. I'd maneuver him toward ruinous choices. Shouldn't golden children taste bitterness? When Ryan departed overseas, Ethan's eyes reddened though he stayed behind. Like a newborn tearing through amniotic haze, he groped blindly toward losses unrecognized. I'd ripped away his protective membrane, thrust him into the mire, bound him to share my torment. Pain, ecstasy, love, I'd make him feel all through me. Ethan wasn't wholly foolish. Antennae quivered with instinctive self-preservation even as he commanded my kneeling, mistaking physical dominance for spiritual conquest. But little master, you showed throat too soon. Don't you know? Clutching tightest chains binds the holder first. When I grasped his calf in feigned submission, I'd already ensnared him earlier, deeper, irrevocable. I hate him, so I entangle him. Pity him, so I elevate him. His entire existence will unfold within this nest of my flesh, rotting together eternally. This is the prosperity I claim. Before our wedding, the Smith family elders questioned my devotion. Of course I love him. When I stagger before God in this chamber of torment, I'll still declare it bearable. For Scripture teaches, love suffers long and is kind.